When the season began, no one could have predicted how good the Carolina Skyhawks would be coming into Week 5. They are off to the best start in franchise history at 4-0 behind a dominating defense and an offense led by a resurgent sophomore season by Jacques Luyendula. Today they travel west to the 9th Circle in Indianapolis, where the hometown Red Devils are at a free fall at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. Will Tom Pepper and company rebound from a drumming at the hands of the Queen City Corsairs last week, or will the Carolina Skyhawks continue to set the pace at the top of the Eastern Conference? Find out next as the Simulation FL Week 5 Sunday slate starts right now on YouTube. Good afternoon, I'm your play-by-play commentator Michael Truilo, joined in the booth today by Levant Mercer. Levant, welcome in.
Thank you. This is bound to be a wonderful Week 5.
We see the coin toss is already done. Skyhawks will get the ball first. And the Skyhawks kicker, Roman Pena, has the ball on the tee at the 30-yard line. The hand is in the air. The whistle blows, and it's game on here in the 9th Circle in Indianapolis. And that ball is returned up to the just past the 25, mark him at the 26-yard line. That's Walsh on the return. So here is the Carolina offense. Quarterback is Jacques Luyendula. The running back is A.J. Francis. The wide receivers are Jalen Miller and the rookie Harish Prasad getting his first start in the SFL. And Jalen Miller takes the first handoff and goes to the left side and gets 8 yards.
See, this is something that Indianapolis needs to work on. They can't keep letting running backs bust through contain.
The defense for Indianapolis looks like this. The safeties are Ashley Rose Finch, Zach Andrews, and Paul Connolly. The quarterbacks are Von Senyuk and Steve Vitak. The linebackers are Thad Castle and Blake Craze. The defensive tackle is E.Z. Temple. Here goes Francis up the middle again. He's got a first down up to the 42-yard line. 2 plays, 2 runs up the middle, and a first down for the Skyhawks.
It looks like Carolina's looking to come out in the same way that Queen City did last week against Indianapolis and looking to run early.
And it's working for them so far. Luyendula hasn't had to throw a pass yet. First down and 10 for the 42. Going left to right across your radio dial. Here's Miller again, and this time he's stopped up in the backfield. Sorry, A.J. Francis again, and he's stopped up in the backfield. He's going to lose a yard. Blake Craze from the linebacker spot came up and made the hit.
And that's what happens when you get proper contain. You force him inside from when he's trying to go outside, and that's what should happen every time.
4-man front for Indianapolis. 2 backs beside Luyendula, who's going to throw to the far side. You got a man out there, but a great double coverage set by Indianapolis means that pass falls incomplete.
Well, that's just Vitek right there, sticking to his man like Bryce there, not letting him any room to breathe.
That was Harish Prasad, brother of linebacker Shravan Prasad, getting his first target. Unfortunately, unable to come down with the catch. 4 wide, 2 to each side. On 3rd down at 11, Luyendula steps for the pocket, rifles it over the middle. Great snag right on top of the logo at midfield. Jalen Miller hauls in his first catch of the day, and it was a beauty. And I think that's a breakdown in coverage a little bit there between the 3 safeties. Nobody came straight down over the middle and helped. And now they're going to go heavy set on first down and 10 in Indianapolis territory at the 44-yard line. Here is A.J. Francis right up the middle, slips through the first level of tackling and gets 4 yards.
That right there with the 2 lead blockers is a concession to how A.J. Francis normally runs. And it should come into effect more in this game, considering how poor their rush defense has been last week.
4-man front A receiver each side and two in the backfield. Luyendula will throw. He's going to throw down the far side of the field, and he overthrew his receiver. That was Jalen Miller out there again. And it was just an overthrow by Luyendula.
It's always very hard to get your ball just right in the middle of two defenders there. Just a little less air and he would have got it, but it's always hard to manage those sorts of passes.
Second straight third down and more than 5. Third down and 6 coming up here. 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Luyendula in the shotgun. Here's the snap. Luyendula looking, got plenty of time, and he throws the out route, and it's going to be short of the first down marker by 2 yards. Jalen Miller came down with the catch, but could not turn upfield.
So it looks like Indianapolis is starting to close down on the ball a lot faster than they did last week, so that's good to see.
Here are my keys to the game when Carolina is on offense. Got to look to A.J. Francis to carry the offense on the ground, and they've been doing that so far. Unfortunately, not on the last 3 series of plays, as the punt is away from Scott Davis. And not the greatest punt in the world, down at the 11-yard line with the fair catch, and that's where the Indianapolis offense will start. The other keys to the game for Indianapolis on defense, you got to wrap up and tackle well and use your fundamentals, because that's something that last week they failed to do against Ash Odom, and he took over the game. Now here is the Indianapolis offense. The quarterback is Tom Pepper. The running back is Keith Swearingen. The wide receivers are Dan Daly and Eli McCormick. And Pepper starts under center, heavy front. Here comes the pressure. He's going to hand it off to Swearingen, and Swearingen loses a yard with absolutely nowhere to go.
They are going to have to introduce Swearingen more into this offense early to start getting the field spread open for those receivers.
And Tom Pepper has not had the easiest time of it. He's been sacked more than any quarterback in the league so far. And he's going to toss it out to Swearingen on the left side, but no blockers in front of him. Spins away from one tackler. But the second one brought him down. That's Shiravan Prasad. And it's only a gain of 2 yards up to the 12-yard line.
And this is the same thing we've seen last week. A lot of short passes that go nowhere. Pepper just needs to regain his confidence and start going down the field.
Here's the Carolina defense. The safeties are Sir Chappelle and Tristan Hatley. The linebackers are Phil Hall and Shiravan Prasad. I'll get to the rest of the defense after this play. Offset eye behind Pepper. Fakes the handoff on the play-action pass. Is almost intercepted. There were 2 Skyhawks in the area. The closest one being number 25, Kip Edwards, the corner.
You see here again, he just moves from his zone perfectly to watch his man. Look at it again. Here we have him move from his man and swat the ball away. Great job.
And Tristan Hatley was also there in good coverage on Daly. Here's the rest of the Carolina defense. The defensive ends are Julius Williams and John Gregory, and the defensive tackles are Bo Rivers Monroe and Christopher Cologne. And now Ryan Quaid, who we saw a lot of last week, he's punting from his own end zone, and he'll get the punt away, but it's going to be good field position for the Skyhawks as that punt got right up to the 50-yard line and into Indianapolis territory at the 47. So, unfortunately, on the first set of downs for Indianapolis, we're kind of seeing same old from last week.
Well, sometimes some teams like to script for the first 20 or so plays, and they're probably just going to stick to it for the first quarter, but I expect them to move from it later on in this game.
Here are the Skyhawks starting in Indianapolis territory at the 47, going left to right. Luyendula in the shotgun, 2 receivers each side. He takes a short drop and fires out to the far side. Jalen Miller makes the catch, turns upfield and gets 9 yards. He's pushed out of bounds just shy of the first down marker. And now it's Eric Walsh on the catch, not Jalen Miller.
I feel like that's a little bit of an experience there. I feel like he didn't know where he was. I mean, he had open daylight ahead of him. He just kind of misjudged where he was on the field.
On second down and 1, they're going to go back to the power formation, and A.J. Francis got the first down and more. He was untouched before he got to the secondary. He was eventually brought down by Paul Connolly and company.
And here we have it again. Running back goes up the middle untouched. And with those lead blockers in front of him, you just will gain yards like that all day if they don't contain him.
So 2 plays and already up to the Indianapolis 28-yard line. The Skyhawks today, blue helmets, white jerseys, red pants, red and blue numbers. Offset eye behind Ulandula, who's under center. Here's another give to Francis, and he's brought down by Paul Connolly. Great spy. He only gains 1 yard.
One of the few bright spots on their defense last week. Connolly, again, they're just helping save what could have potentially been another big run for them.
Had 5 tackles last week against Queen City. He already has 2 here on this drive. 2nd down and 9. Here's Francis again, turning the corner, bowling over a man, and getting 6 yards up to the 21-yard line. He almost took out 2 red jerseys.
And that doesn't normally seem to be his type of running style, but they're probably employing it this week, just watching tape from last week. And when he's doing that to you, then you have a problem.
Indianapolis, white helmets, red jerseys with white numbers. And here is a dump-off pass on 3rd down and 3, and Miller's got room, and Miller's got a 1st down into the SFL, presented by APM Music Red Zone for the first time today to the 13-yard line.
See, when your running game opens up like this, you get involved in the passing game too. Look at this. Wide open out on the flat there, and just no stopping it right now.
And there was nobody within about 5 or 6 yards of him when he caught that pass. The closest man who eventually ran him down was the linebacker Lou Grady. So everybody hard committing to the receivers, and nobody picked up Francis out of the backfield. It's 1st down and 10 at the 13-yard line. Ulandula looking, throwing, end zone, one-on-one coverage, picked off! It's taken away by the Red Devils at the last possible second. Steve Vitak takes it away.
Here is again, just absolutely dominating his receiver there on the outside. What a wonderful play there.
It looked like Harish Prasad kind of got a bit wrong-footed there in the end zone. Didn't really know which way to turn. Tried to dive and save it at the very end, but great job by Vitak. He picks up the pick, and Indianapolis keeps the Skyhawks off the board. And here is Pepper now on 1st down and 10. Hit as he throws, but completes it over the middle for a 1st down. Great ball picked up Bob Racer on the catch.
This is what Indianapolis is going to have to start doing more. To start spreading the field and delivering the ball to each of his receivers.
Pepper last week, 32 of 40, 203 yards and a touchdown. And here's a give to Swearingen, and Swearingen's got room, and he's shrugging off defenders and all the way to midfield. Great power running off the left side by Keith Swearingen.
And here, this is what you're really looking for out of Swearingen today. Let's look at it again. Here, just absolutely shifty, smooth, silky power running. And that's something that you don't usually say when you talk about power running. But look at that again. Just all kinds of moves there.
Great little dance to get around one defender, then powers through another, picks up 12 yards all the way to midfield. And this could be the first time that the Red Devils have been inside Skyhawk territory in this ball game. Here's another handoff. Swearingen's got a lot of room up the middle, and a spin move gets him 6 yards up to the 44-yard line.
Another case of whatever you can do, I can do better. He also had a lead blocker on that run there. Good gain of 6 yards.
It's the Keith Swearingen show so far on this drive. 3 plays, all to Swearingen, and we'll see if... sorry, 4 plays, 3 of them to Swearingen. One of them the pass over the middle to Racer. And here's another play. Swearingen, left side, dragging a defender. 1st down to the 40-yard line. Wow, Sir Chappelle got pulled for about 4 of those 6 yards.
And that's something you don't often see happening to him ever. And what we just saw there is just the absolute skills of this running back.
Chat shout out Mr. Gutty 117, Donger, CC25Y, Christian Punt, AJ Francis, Realistance, Kumbaya, and everybody else watching as Swearingen grabs a pass out of the backfield, gets a block, and gets 3 yards before he's finally brought down. Tristan Hatley came up and laid the wood on him.
I like the addition of, some of the screenplays here that they're trying to add into this week. They're going to keep going back to those passes. You might as well give them a chance to break free for some yards.
Here is 2nd down and 7 at the 37. Pepper to throw. Going to throw it out to Swearingen again. One-handed catch. Tries to spin away from a tackle. But a good wrap-up by Grayson Klein, the corner, who doesn't let him get the first down. 3rd down and 3 coming up.
At the same time, as a running back, you can't be expecting to do it every play, and you can't be doing too much. And right there, he almost did too much.
And I want to take your mind back to the first game of the season when Indianapolis played Tallahassee and almost won. Swearingen had a similar kind of output for most of the game, picking up chunks of yardage. And when the Indianapolis Red Devils have been most effective is when he gets going like this. 3rd down and 3. He's going to get it again. And 1st down, up to the 29-yard line. Clutch running by Swearingen.
And that's what they're going to need out of him the rest of this game here. Is take the pressure off Tom Pepper, help spread that defense open. If they try to push in too close, and give it out to those receivers outside.
1st down and 10 at the 29-yard line. I formation and a jump. And it's going to be a free play, and they're going to need all of those bonus yards that they can get as Swearingen was stopped well behind the line of scrimmage. But it's going to be an offsides penalty on Carolina. And that was John Gregory. And you mentioned leading up to the game that John Gregory really hasn't had the best of seasons so far. And it continues right there as a critical stop is taken away from the Carolina defense.
And it's just a tale of two sides of that defensive line. The side Christopher Cologne's on has been performing, and the side that the 2 rookies have been on, not so much.
And maybe there's a reason why that's the side that teams have been attacking this season. 2 to the right, none to the left. Pepper under center. 1st down and 5. He's going to swing it out to Swearingen. 1 man to beat. And again, the spin move doesn't get him away from Shravan Prasad. And it looks like the Skyhawks defense is keying in on that move so far.
And that football move, as I mentioned a lot, is one I don't particularly like because it has a propensity to lead to fumbles.
And he's done that same move about 3 times out of the backfield where he takes 2 steps, then tries to spin away from the lead tackler. And this time out of the backfield, they're going to bring him down for a loss of 1. As Cologne gets through there and backing up your point that you made that Christopher Cologne's had a great season, and he really has. That's his 10th tackle of the season, his 7th for loss, and he's got 4.5 sacks. That's the end of the first quarter. No score. Red Devils 0, Skyhawks 0. This is the SFL, presented by APM Music on YouTube. Stay with us. Michael Truilo, Levant Mercer in the booth for you at the 9th Circle in Indianapolis. The Red Devils facing a 3rd and 6 from the Skyhawk 25-yard line. 11 minutes to go until halftime. Here is Pepper standing in the pocket, now steps up and floats it over the head of his receiver. It may have been tipped by Daniel Pruitt, but either way, it's going to be a field goal attempt by Roman Pena.
I don't necessarily think that was exactly a bad pass there. I feel like Pepper knows the quality of the corners that Carolina has, wanted to test them. He just needed more touch on that pass, and he just didn't have it there.
I just watched the replay, and yes, it was tipped on the way in there by Pruitt. Good defensive play by him, and Pena's got the kick away, and it's no good. Missed it wide right. And Indianapolis has a bit of the missing kicker syndrome that seems to be going around the league this season.
And not only that, but when it rains, it pours. I know stepping up into the game, reports, said that we were going to have rain. We don't have any today. It's clear skies, but you know what? He's probably still feeling it. I mean, this season has not gone the way Indianapolis has liked. And that's just another bit of it right there.
We're only a month into the season. It's a long season to the end, so it's still time to turn it around for Indianapolis, and getting a lead in the game might have really helped. And here's the first play from scrimmage for A.J. Francis, and he's got 5 yards off the right side.
This again is just another display of just wonderful blocks up front, and A.J. Francis is finding all the time in the world to find the holes he needs.
In the win over the Gladiators in primetime last week, Jacques Liandula, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, but it's been the A.J. Francis show so far as he's dragging more defenders up to the 44-yard line, first down for the Skyhawks.
The one thing I will mention about what Indianapolis is doing here, but we'll get to A.J. Francis right now. Look at him here, once again, getting through and just dragging defenders with him. It always seems like he'll need 2 or 3 to take him down.
That was Blake Colt being dragged through the mud on that run. First and 10 at the Carolina 44, just under 10 minutes to go here in the first half. Another handoff. Miller. It's been a running back battle, and this time the defense wins. Stopped in the backfield for a loss of 1. Great tackle by Blake Craze.
And it seems like the bright spot for their defense this week, it seems to be every time they actually get a proper contain, Blake Craze is there to stop them.
He's had 2 key tackles for loss so far in this ballgame, and look at how Indianapolis is pressing on the line of scrimmage. Almost everybody up there, and A.J. Francis runs through everybody. Nobody can touch him, and he's up to the 30, running left side. 20, 15, 10, 5. He's dragging defenders down to the 3-yard line. A valiant effort by Von Senyuk, who finally brought him down and saved the touchdown. But A.J. Francis said, hey, you're going to try and stop me? No, thank you. I'm running through all of you.
Look at this again. When you send a blitz that heavy and you press up on the line as much as they did here, you're giving this superstar all the time he needs. All the space he needs to just bust open and hit you hard with a great run there.
And the problem is, if you press that high, the only people left to try and bring down the running back are the safeties, and it ended up being about 50 yards down the field. Here's first down and goal from the 3, and Francis, oh, he's going backwards. Back to the 6-yard line, loss of 3. Great push there from the defense. That was E.Z. Temple, who missed most of the game last week with an injury. Blake Colt was also in on that tackle.
I think for Indianapolis, if they look at the tape from this quarter and the previous one, and at halftime, they're going to realize they're going to need to use more of those contained plays to stop Francis.
Second down and goal from the 6. Liandula, 5-step drop short over the middle. Oh, and it was a try to be a juke move to get in the end zone. But Harish Prasad only got the 3 yards back to the original line of scrimmage. And now third down and goal coming up.
Now, when you're in the red zone like this, your playbook tends to be a lot smaller. You can't use deep routes anymore unless they're fades or corner posts, skinny posts. So, I mean, slants is one thing you can use there. It didn't work out this time, though.
Slants are usually your red zone friend, and that was Harish Prasad's first SFL catch. And can he get his first SFL touchdown? Yes, he can! Put it on the board, right over the middle. Skyhawks take the lead.
Well, speaking about the play again, they went right back to it, and here's Harish Prasad here, again, getting away from his defender, getting perfect separation from the press. Just wonderful play there.
That was Steve Vitak, who made such an amazing interception in the first quarter. Could not catch up to the cut move that Prasad made, and Prasad trots into the end zone. First SFL touchdown, and hopefully many more to come for the young man. Good job to him, and the extra point will be attempted by Ezekiel Klein. Bit of a high snap, but the kick is up and through. So with 7 minutes 50 to go in the first half, we have our first score. It's Carolina 7, Indianapolis nothing. This is the SFL, presented by APM Music on YouTube. Stay with us.
I just feel like right there is just a brilliant game plan so far from Carolina. They knew exactly how to attack Indianapolis, and they earned a score after a long drive.
Most of it on the long, about 47-yard run from A.J. Francis, and from the 10-yard line, the kickoff is returned by Ashley Rose Finch, up to the 28, and Tom Pepper and company are going to try to respond. And let's not forget that despite the missed field goal on Indianapolis' last drive, it was very successful, ran most of the first quarter out with Keith Swearingen, got into field goal range. The only thing that really stopped him from going in the end zone was a great one-on-one play on the outside by the corner, Pruitt. And here's Pepper from first down. Good pocket over the middle. Picked off. He undersold the receiver. And coming back the other way is Sir Chappelle. He's got his second pick of the season. And just as I say, things could be looking up for Indianapolis. The momentum swings right the other way, back in Carolina's favor.
Here we have the defensive captain right here, Sir Chappelle. Just wonderful ball hawk. Just wonderful vision there. As you see, you call a cover one robber play like that, you usually expect him to be the one taking the ball away, and that's what he did there.
A.J. Francis's numbers, 12 carries, 8.2 yards a carry. Those numbers helped by that long run on the last drive, and Carolina starts in Red Devil territory at the 34-yard line, going right to left. In their blue, white, and red, moving in the pocket and throwing out to the near side, but Prasad is out of bounds. Good pressure up the middle that time by the Indianapolis defensive line.
I just felt like he had a different receiver on that play. On the same side. I don't know why he didn't go for him, but all right.
Well, under duress, maybe just trying to get rid of the ball. Second down and 10 from the 34. 2 to the right, 1 to the left. The Ulandula hands it off. Francis has some running room off the left side, and he's crunched down by 2 defenders, and he's not going to get the first down. Good tackling out there. Good pursuit by Blake Craze to come up and lead the tackle out by the line of scrimmage. Or sorry, out by the first down marker.
This is what happens when you run up the inside so successfully. Then once you start going outside, you have open running lanes.
Let's see. We're probably going to see another high dosage of A.J. Francis here on this 3rd down and 1. And he is going to get the ball. He's going to run right side, and he's going to run up for a first down and into the red zone at the 19-yard line.
I still have to say I see a marked improvement in how Indianapolis is handling the run. I know we don't really truly see it, but on that play, if it was last week, that would have been broken off. They pulled off their blockers and got to the running back there.
First down and 10 at the 19-yard line. Carolina really trying to heap the pressure on Indianapolis, and there's a slant pass out to the running back, and Francis, Francis took a major shot by Paul Connolly before he could reach the first down marker. Looks a little dazed as he's getting up there, walking back to the huddle. He got 9 yards on the play, though.
Well, you still have to assert your dominance out there on the field. I mean, there are just times shots like that are just needed to keep people in check.
2 right, 1 left. Second down and 1. Francis in the backfield. He's going to get the ball. He's going to run left side, and he's going to be stopped short of the first down. Man, Blake Colt is having himself a day. Another tackle behind the line of scrimmage for him, and it's going to be 3rd and 1.
I just got to see someone miss their assignment there. Was engaged on the block there and just bowled through, letting Colt get through.
Here they go with the power setup on 3rd and 1. Francis with blockers. Oh, he didn't get there. The Indianapolis defense crashes the play, and E.Z. Temple did not let A.J. Francis get the first down.
Now this is a good sign for the Indianapolis sorry, what are they coming out in?
They are in the power set, 4th and inches from the 9-yard line. Just over 5 minutes, now under 5 minutes to go, and I think we might be just seeing if they can try and draw them off sides here. As the clock ticks down, yep, here comes the timeout. And there it is.
I'm never fond of teams trying to play checking like this. I just don't ever understand it. I mean, I understand you have the yardage. You're going to kick a field goal anyway. I see what you're trying to do, but you're only up 10 after this field goal, if it goes through. I never like it in close game situations like this.
Yeah, and the same thing, continuing your point, you're losing a timeout when yeah, it's the first half. It doesn't really matter. But there could be the difference between getting a shot at the end zone at the end of the half and not in the next, 5 minutes or so. Well, it's behind us. Here's Ezekiel Klein from about 25 yards, and he'll put that one right down Main Street. 10-0 Skyhawks, 4:44 to go, second quarter. Indianapolis going to try and get back into this ball game.
I got to the point I was trying to make earlier. I will have to say there has been a marked improvement on the last drive by the Indianapolis Red Devils defense. 1 week ago that probably would have been yet another touchdown, but they closed down, engaged well, and only left Carolina with 3 points.
Here's the return by Finch up to the 28-yard line, and there has been an improvement on the defensive side for Indianapolis. Last week they were down 21 at this point in the game. Now they're only down 10.
I mean, you never want to be down at all, but I mean, considering that Pepper threw an interception on the last drive, 3 points isn't the worst thing you could have given up after such a result.
Let's see if they try and go deep again or keep it more conservative here. 1st and 10 from their own 28. Pepper, good pocket, dumps it short, and the pass falls incomplete. Tipped at the line of scrimmage by Bo Rivers Monroe. First time we've mentioned his name today.
That's one issue teams have sometimes when a quarterback is a little more diminutive in stature than his position should allow him to be. And right there, he just couldn't throw over his lineman.
Offset I, a receiver each side on 2nd down and 10. And Pepper's going to take a short drop, throw out to Swearingen. Nobody there to block for him, and he still gets a yard, which is more than I would get in that situation. But that's actually the fullback, Thad Castle. Not Thad Castle. Thad Castle's the linebacker. It's a different Castle. I will find him in a moment. Frank Castle is his name. 6', 205, and here on 3rd down and 9, another short pass, and going the wrong way is Castle. He's going to be stopped well behind the line. Loss of 3 yards when he caught the ball 3 yards in front of the line of scrimmage.
And this is just a comedy of errors here. I've seen a couple receivers on that play that looked like better targets. He's probably had happy feet there. Throws it to his fullback who just doesn't know where forward is, and it's just a mess.
And I'm sure that the least happy man in the stadium right now is James Richards on the Indianapolis sideline, seeing his offense come apart at the seams there on that drive. 3:28 to go, second quarter, as Walsh returns up to the 41-yard line, and Carolina's going to get another shot to run down this clock.
It's just, it absolutely confounds me that a team that almost beat Tallahassee in the first half of the first week of this season just lost the plot all of a sudden.
Here is Ulandula in the shotgun. He'll throw on 1st and 10, steps up in the pocket, throws short. And A.J. Francis only got a yard before he was buried by Blake Colt, who's having himself a good game.
Carolina may want to test the secondary now, because now they're starting to contain those short plays, and you always want to surprise them at points like this. Probably get another score before the half ends.
4 down linemen, and Ulandula going to throw. Pressure coming. He goes into double coverage, and it's picked off. Paul Connolly takes the ball away, and Indianapolis is back in business at their own 42-yard line.
There goes that man again. It's Paul Connolly. Instead of tackling this time, we have him just zip across the field and steal ball. Steal some dreams, too.
That wasn't the best throw by Ulandula. Maybe not a rookie mistake, a young quarterback mistake. Jalen Miller was the intended target, and he was blanketed by Von Senyuk. Nowhere to throw that ball into. He tried to force it. It was picked off by Connolly, and here's Keith Swearingen up the middle, bouncing off a tackler and getting 3 yards.
been a rather defensive game so far, and here it is again. Just Sir Chappelle just closing down real fast and Swearingen.
I think both defenses have made good adjustments because in the first quarter, the running backs were dominating the game, and now it's a bit more of a defensive game, as you said. Both running backs aren't getting as many yards per carry. As here goes Swearingen, breaks off one tackle, can't get away from the second one. He'll pick up 3 more yards up to the 48-yard line. 3rd down and 4 coming up.
But secretly, I feel like this is playing into Carolina's strengths. When the game is close as it is right now, they tend to just perform better.
We have reached the 2-minute warning. Skyhawks 10, Red Devils nothing. This is the SFL presented by APM Music on YouTube. Stay with us. 3rd down and 4, and we saw Indianapolis really struggle on 3rd down last week. Let's see if they can get the 4 yards necessary here. Here's Swearingen up the middle. 1st down. Running behind his blockers. And up past midfield to the Carolina 45. Good hard running there.
Yes, it is. But look at it again. Just when you have such a tight hole to get through and you have a running back that's able to get skinny like he is, you know you're going to get a 1st down more times often than not.
Good chase by Phil Hall to bring him down. Christopher Colon also involved on that play. Receiver each side, and Swearingen alone in the backfield. Pressure coming from Skyhawks defense, and Swearingen runs around to the left side. Spin move gets him free. 30, and he's going to be brought down by a gaggle of Skyhawk tacklers at the 23-yard line, and now Indianapolis are in business on this drive.
When you have a one-on-one of a defender, that's when you use the spin move, and you used it to perfection there. I thought I was going to get another look at it, but you know, I'll get back to that after this play.
Nope, Indianapolis using some of their patented speed as they're really going to go up-tempo now. Swearingen lost 2 yards as the left side of the defensive line collapsed. And now he's going to get the ball out of the backfield with nowhere really to go. He's going to try and get out of bounds and succeeds. 3rd down and 10. Indianapolis goes to the tempo, and it doesn't really work for him this time.
Well, to get to what I was trying to say earlier about that play, it's just there you have when you have isolated members of the defense and have one-on-ones as a running back, you want to be able to just, you know, misguide them, and that's what he did there.
Now Pepper's going to have to go to the air. 3rd down and 10 from the 23. Pepper looking, throwing, down the seam, touchdown! Put it on the board! Tom Pepper with a dime across the middle, and there's Eli McCormick. What a time to pick up your first catch of the day.
What a time indeed! Let's look at it again. Eli McCormick with the seasoning. Look at this precise just strike from Pepper. Look at it again. Right through 3 defenders. What a wonderful play.
Tristan Hatley, Phil Hall, and Daniel Pruitt were all there. None of them could make the play. Tom Pepper, welcome to the game. And it's an extra point away from being a 3-point game with 46 seconds to go in the first half. Extra point is up and good by Pena. With 46 seconds to go, first half, Carolina 10, Indianapolis 7. All of a sudden, we have a football game. This is the SFL presented by APM Music on YouTube. Stay with us.
And not only that, that just goes back to that timeout Carolina burned earlier. Now they don't have it. Now the game's close again. You're going to see what they do on this drive.
And the kick is away. They only have 45 seconds and 2 timeouts. And a penalty. This could be interesting here, especially if it's on the Red Devils. Preliminarily, Walsh gets it up to the 30-yard line. Oh, and it's against the Skyhawks. Terry Stewart on special teams duty. That's the 3rd tight end on the depth chart. Hasn't seen play on the offensive side today. But he gets his chance on special teams and makes a mess of it.
And he just looked absolutely befuddled there, but just looking back at that clip of him, and I am too. They're holding on every play. They just decided to call it there, and it happens sometimes in football.
It looks like Carolina just content to run the clock out. No, they're going to throw it out to Miller out of the backfield. He's got a blocker there, and he's still going. I thought he was bumped out miles back, but he gets the first down into the 33.
I feel like that's a little bit of a generous spot there. I mean, we look at it again here. It looks like he did go out of bounds a little earlier, like you said here. Like, right about. Yeah, you're about right.
Yeah,
he stayed in.
He stayed in, barely kept the left foot in bounds. But the clock is stopped with 36 seconds to go. Carolina from their own 33, maybe about 30 yards or so from Hail Mary range. And in an offset eye, looks like they're just content to run out the clock unless A.J. Francis can do something magical. He can't there. He'll only pick up 3. Here comes the up-tempo offense. And it's going to be another run for Francis, and he's buried behind the line of scrimmage.
They're just going to be content to run out the clock, and I can't say I necessarily blame them. You don't really have that many timeouts remaining. You're not using them. You might as well just go to the halftime and just settle yourselves.
2-1. They're going to get a playoff here. Over the middle, caught. Towards midfield, the tackle is made. Bob Klein on the reception. Or sorry, Jalen Miller on the reception. No, it was Bob Klein on the reception. But that's the end of the first half. Carolina went out hot, scored 10 straight points. The Red Devils, led by Tom Pepper and Keith Swearingen on offense, fought back into this game. It's 10-7 at the break. This is the SFL, presented by APM Music. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Ninth Circle here in Indianapolis. The crowd is hype today. Full house despite the threat of rain in the area. Michael Truilo, Levant Mercer here in the booth calling this one for you. And Levant, it's a close game despite Carolina dominating basically every stat so far.
That's true, but as we see on Indianapolis's last drive, what occurred was that Pepper caught some of his momentum back, and I think after that touchdown pass he threw, he might have some of his mojo back. We'll see in this half how he performs.
And speaking of momentum, after that great touchdown drive to end the first half, the ball is right back in Tom Pepper's hands, and I'm sure that's right where he wants it right now. So here he is, Indianapolis in the all-red with white helmets, going right to left, and here's Keith Swearingen, and he's going to go down. Gang tackled behind the line of scrimmage, loss of 2 yards. He's going back to 60 yards gained on the day. Tackle made by Willie Van Dyke out of the linebacker spot.
In a defensive game like this, when Carolina wants to make sure they keep forcing contain, keep forcing Swearingen inside, and not giving him any room to run.
I formation for Pepper, Swearingen, and company on 2nd down and 12. Pepper out to Swearingen. He's got some room to run. A spin move takes him past the first tackler, and he gets out to the 31-yard line. 3rd down and 7 coming up.
You want to keep an eye on that move for the rest of the game. Some rookie running backs like going back to the same move over and over. Once they get a read on that and they hit him hard enough, we might see something happen.
Swearingen is a rookie, a 2nd-round pick. As Pepper takes a long step drop, throws out to the far side. That pass is caught at a 1st down up the middle and more yards up to the 43-yard line. Great grab and run after catch by John Hamill, the non-contract wide receiver who we saw a bit of last week in the loss at Queen City.
That right there is just knowing your assignments there. Pepper just saw him wide open there, knew that 49 wasn't an option because he would have been closed down on, threw it to the right receiver. Good job, Hamill. Good job, Pepper.
1st down and 10 from the Indianapolis 43. Blue helmets, white jerseys, red pants, blue socks today for the Skyhawks, and they have put a lot of pressure on the line here on this 1st down play. Pepper going to throw, and the defense going to back off, but Pepper goes over the top, and it's incomplete. It was tipped by Tristan Hatley and eventually hit the turf.
It's just another one of those times you kind of wish you just had a little more air on that ball. But the thing is, Pepper just needs to realize coverage downfield was really tight. And if you just can't get it over the top, just don't throw it there. Eli
McCormick maybe had a half a step on Hatley, but that was about it. And here he is, 2nd down and 10. Pepper out to Swearingen on the near side. Spin move, man-to-man, looks silly. 1st down, up to the 46-yard line of Carolina.
And you would have thought Sir Chappelle would have known better. He's seen that at least a couple times, and Chevron Prasad as well, as we'll notice. Look at that just right there. Just having to save his safety up top there with a touchdown saving tackle there.
Sir Chappelle went for the hard commit on the inside route, and based on the way this game has gone, the coach should have been telling him if he gets a pass in the flat, he's going to spin. Every time he did, and Chappelle missed it, and here's Swearingen again. No spin this time on the pass in the flat. And he gets 2 yards brought down by, looks like, Tristan Hatley up from the safety spot.
Now, to go back a couple plays ago, you normally want your receivers to have at least 2 or 3 yards of separation. You see just a half step, it's not good enough. Don't throw it there.
2nd down and 8. Pepper under center, a receiver each side. Pepper stands in the pocket, throws over the middle into traffic, and the ball hits the turf. Tight coverage there. He's looking for Dan Daly, who I don't think has made a catch yet in this game, surprisingly. He was the workhorse last week.
We got to give it up to those quarters for Carolina so far. They might not be getting the big bucks, but what they have been doing is sticking to their assignments real closely, and that's really hard to do against these receivers, but they've been doing a great job today.
3rd down and 8. This is where Indianapolis struggled last week in the 3rd and long situation, and Swearingen's going to have to do it himself. And did he get there? No, he barely didn't get there. 4th down and inches coming up from the 36-yard line.
It's a very contentious spot of the ball there, but, you know, forward progress is a fickle beast sometimes. You don't know how they're going to mark it down.
We saw Keith Swearingen holding his hip or back area as he went back to the huddle. I'm not sure if that's him in the game right there on 4th and inches. They're going to go for it. They're going to give it to the running back, and that is Swearingen, and you can see he got the first down, but he was real slow, and he's slow getting up too. And back to the ground he goes. Oh, no, this could be a disaster for the Red Devils.
Oh, they can't deal with that right now. This just can't be happening, and they should have probably just audible play here. Look at this again. We just see him just get hit right on, and lands on the same side that he was. Look at that. Oh my God. I hope he's going to be all right, but he seemed to have landed really hard on his hip there once again.
Oh man, and you really feel for Keith Swearingen. It was tight. You know, he stayed out there on the field even though he was hurt. He got the first down, but now he's not in the game, and Pepper's going to have to do it all himself. He's going to go over the middle. That pass is complete. Dan Daly picks up a catch, and he'll get 3 yards.
Well, at this point, the best way to try to get over it is score on this drive for your running back. If he ends up not coming back into this game, Pepper's going to have to take command of it.
Scores from around the SFL: Mexico 9, Sioux Falls nothing in the third quarter. Baltimore 7, St. Louis 7 in the third quarter. So all low-scoring games in the afternoon session today. And the pass out of the backfield went to Joe McElroy. Get used to hearing that name because he's now the running back number 1.
And as we see here, they just seem to really like that move, and there it is again with another spin move, and I'm just a little worried about that sort of play.
Especially now since you don't have the number 1 guy in who can consistently pull that off. 3rd down and 3 now from the Carolina 26. Pepper, 5-step drop, goes out to the far side. Catch is made at a first down. Great grab out there. Eli McCormick, he's got a touchdown and now an impressive over-the-shoulder catch for a first down.
And that right there is just what you want to see out of a possession receiver like he is. Like, you just see, you need to get just enough yardage. You know they like to cover deep, get the out route, just go safe, manage the game. And McCormick is one of those receivers that help you with that.
Here is 1st and 10 from the Carolina 22, just outside the red zone. Pepper slinging it down the seam. First down inside the 10. Eli McCormick took a shot, but he held on to the football. First down and goal coming up for the Red Devils in the SFL, presented by APM Music Red Zone.
While last week it was all Daly, this time it's McCormick again. Here we have him just getting that slant route to perfection.
And that's a similar route to where they scored the first touchdown to McCormick in the second quarter. Now 1st and goal from the 7-yard line. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right, offset eye. Here's a handoff to McElroy. McElroy left side, and he's not going to get much of anything. Brought down in a 1v1 tackle by Shiravan Prasad.
And this is just the difference of quality and running backs on display now. He got caught up behind his lead blocker there and just couldn't bounce back out to the outside.
They're going to flip the starting position. Now 2 receivers right in the offset eye. From 2nd down and goal at the 7. Pepper going to look to throw. He's got good protection. Throws it out to the far side. And running the wrong way is McCormick. Could have had a touchdown, but was wrong-footed by the pass angle. And only got 2 yards. 3rd down and goal at the 4.
I can't put all the blame there on the receiver. He had to save the play. The ball ended up way behind his outside shoulder, and he just had to make sure he caught the ball. Got pulled by the pass. Important
play here. 3rd down and 4. Indianapolis trying to take the lead from inside the 5-yard line. Pepper looking, pressure coming, sack number 1. We knew it was going to come sometime, and it is unto Tom Pepper, and it comes at the end of Christopher Colon.
That's the right man to do it, too. You knew that it was coming anytime. You know that this quarterback has just had the worst of luck with sacks, and Christopher Colon is just an absolute beast up in the middle there.
Pena up and good right down Main Street. We've got a tie ball game at 10. Only a 23 yardage with chip shot. But they all count the same. They all count for 3 points, and Indianapolis has tied this game up with an impressive end of the second and beginning of the third quarters. That one drive took 7 minutes off the clock here in the second quarter.
You know, in a defensive game like this, when time is of the essence, and if you can possess the ball longer and tire out a defense in the fourth quarter, your work is going to be shown to, you know, to provide you that game-changing play at the end of the game, you know?
Eric Walsh brings it up to the 27-yard line. That is where Ulandula will go to work, and Ulandula and the rest of the Skyhawks offense have been sitting not only on the bench but in the locker room now for about 25 minutes. Let's see if they come out cold or flat. And here's A.J. Francis. He was chased down from behind, only got 4 yards. Paul Connolly came on the late blitz and got him.
Alternatively, they could be coming back out refreshed with all that break, so we'll see which version of the Skyhawks we get on this drive.
Going back to the sack that ended the last drive by Christopher Colon, that was his 5th sack of the season. And now a handoff, Francis up the middle, not going much of anywhere. Got 2 yards before he was brought down in the hole. And now 3rd down and 4 coming up.
We're really living in a front 7 era in the SFL. We used to live in a vertical passing era. Now we live in the era of you probably need to have 4 down linemen.
Here's the handoff up the middle, and Francis goes nowhere. Solo tackle in the hole by who else? Blake Colt. He's been having a monster game so far.
And Indianapolis needs the other members of their defense to step up. Last week it was Connolly stepping up. This week it's Colton and also Blake Craze. And they're going to need to rely on them to stop Skyhawks from pushing forward.
Punt on the way. First of the day for Scott Davis, and returned from the 30-yard line, and Finch doesn't get much of it up to the 32. Actually, that's not Finch on the return. That's Zach Andrews. We still haven't heard from the locker rooms and the training staff the status of Keith Swearingen, who went down in the middle of the last drive with an apparent hip injury. We will keep you updated as we go along. 1st down and 10 for the Red Devils, going right to left in the all red-white helmets. Here's Pepper throwing it out to McCoy. McElroy. It was Mick something. We don't often get to see backup running backs. It's his first time McElroy's seen some action all season.
And it looked like it there because he absolutely just could not wait for his blocker and tried to spin like Swearingen does, but just couldn't do it.
No yards gained on the play. 2nd down and 10 coming up. Looks like... Oh, no, they looked like they were going to try and send the blitz, and none came, and here goes McElroy. This time he waits for his blockers and gets 8 yards off the left side.
It looks like Indianapolis is going to refuse to change their game plan and going to trust their young backup here. Let's see how he performs in the second half. He's probably starting to heat up after that run.
I mean, if you're good enough to make a roster in the SFL, you're good enough to play every week in, week out. There's a lot of competition for spots in practice and in training camp, and that time McElroy goes nowhere, basically defeating the purpose of my entire sentence as Bo Rivers Monroe comes up with the stop.
Not necessarily. On that play, I feel like the offensive line just let him down there. Just the defensive line pinched and just pincered the center, allowing him to go through.
Punt coming up by Roman Pena, only his 2nd punt of the day, and I'm guessing he's glad that he's seeing less of the field than last week. And it's returned up by Walsh to the 26-yard line.
I mean, the difference between a punter and a kicker is the punter really doesn't want to have to go out there that much. That means his team isn't doing well. Kicker, on the other hand, does, because that means at least he gets to score.
AJ Francis, updated numbers on your screen. 123 yards, 21 passes. And here's 4 wide set with 3 to the left, 1 to the right, but they're going to hand it off to Francis up the middle. And Francis, oh my goodness, he got 9 yards and shoved Keith Swearingen on defense? That's got to be wrong.
That was...
It was Ashley Rose Finch who came up and tried to make a tackle from the safety spot. Shoved Finch back about 8 of those 9 yards. That was ridiculous. That might be the most impressive thing we've seen Francis do all day, and he's got another first down off the 4-yard run off the right side.
And going back to the keys of the game here, once again, Indianapolis not able to get the first man to tackle and wrap up Francis there, and they need, and how tight this ball game is, to get better at that.
2 right, 1 left. 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line, going left to right. Plenty of time in the pocket for Yulin Dooley, but he's just going to dump it short to Francis, and he picks up 4 yards, brought down by Blake Craze.
Perfect coverage downfield by Indianapolis, but once again, Francis is at least always there to help out.
We have hit the end of the 3rd quarter. 10-10 ball game, a close one here at the 9th Circle in Indianapolis. This is the SFL presented by APM Music on YouTube. Stay with us. Back in Indianapolis for the 4th quarter of play. 11 minutes to go in a tie ball game. Michael Truilo, Levant, Mercer in the booth for this one. And it's been a fun game here today despite it being defensive. We've seen some great individual performances on the defensive side. 2 picks for Indianapolis. Here goes AJ Francis on 2nd down. He'll get a couple of yards, bring up a 3rd down and 4.
It's not often you get to say fun and defensive at the same time, but this game has, surpassed expectations for this type of game it has been so far.
Hey, the football team at my high school would win every game. They won like 10-3. It was fun. Here's Yulin Dooley in the pocket, throwing over the middle into traffic, and nobody really was there. Looks like the receivers kind of ran into each other. The routes were all a little too similar.
Well, this is what happens sometimes when you have a trips bunch type of formation, and you kind of just get mixed up. You know who wasn't mixed up on that play there? Connolly again. He read it perfectly up to the end. He got some help out there. You saw the hit. That hurt me up here. Ow.
Connolly having a banner day. He has a pick. And it forced the punt out of Scott Davis. 2nd punt of the game for him. Shout out CC25 wide. Da Brown Knight, realist since Kumbaya, Eric Dahlquist, Mighty RX, Dunger, Hendrix Thornberry, Phil H, and everybody else watching us right now on the SFL Network on YouTube. Thank you for joining us and spending your Sunday afternoon / evening with us. We got a great day of action still to come tonight. Right now, still going on is Baltimore and St. Louis and Mexico City and Sioux Falls. Later tonight, 5 Central time slots with just about an hour from now. I'll get to that after this play, as it's an offset eye, and Pepper hands it off. Oh, and going backwards is McElroy. He loses 6 yards. Man, that defense was eaten, and Bo Rivers Monroe has had a great second half.
And here we have him again, up just absolutely. This is how you should play of a force-contained sort of play. Try to push him inside. Don't let him get to the outside. Cover your assignment. Defeat your man and tackle the running back. Great play.
And an addendum to that last play, Keith Swearingen is back in the ball game. We don't really know his status or how well he's feeling, but he is in there. Pepper over the middle, down the seam. Great throw. Good pitch and catch there. Dan Daly picking up almost 20 yards. No, picking up 9 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
A little bit of tough love there. Put him back in the game. Let's hope he stays upright and okay.
That's just proving that I can't do math. I formation, a penalty. Is this a jump? Oh, and it's got a sack too. This would be disastrous for Carolina if a sack is negated by a jumping penalty.
I'm afraid it's going to be.
Oh, it's against the Skyhawks. Julius Williams with the offsides, and Indianapolis gets another chance.
He just was a little overeager there. He got his sack taken away because the only way he earned that sack was by jumping too soon. You gotta listen to the cadence. You've been out on the field long enough to know Pepper's cadence by now.
Julius Williams hasn't really done much today. Had a good game last week, a tackle and a half a sack and one tackle for loss, and another penalty on the play. This one looks like holding, as Swearingen gets the ball and goes for about 3 yards off the right side.
You saw a hold there? I didn't see one.
Face mask. Against the Skyhawks again, and against Julius Williams again. 2 straight plays with a penalty for Williams, and Indianapolis is now up to midfield.
You cannot afford at this late juncture of the game to be indisciplined like that. You're just undisciplined. You just can't do that.
First down and 2 after the 2 penalties from the 37-yard line. Swearingen first down, running through contact up to the 39. He's a little slow to get up, and he actually needed a bit of help there from Robbie Lowbridge, the offensive tackle. And maybe he's not feeling 100%, but he's in there and giving it his all.
They really want to win this game, and I knew he had to have convinced Richards to let him go back out there.
2 receivers right, a tight end left, Pepper under center, short drop, throws out to the far side. McCormick taps the toes for 3 yards.
Swearingen's a tough kid, and I know he really wants to be out here right now, but you know, sometimes as a player you have to just think to yourself, is it really worth it? Because I mean, your health is also important, but we'll see how he goes on.
We'll see if he plays the rest of the game. It is still a 10-10 ball game. And here's Swearingen, and he doesn't look like he's getting off the line as fast as he did in the first half before his injury, as Prasad comes up with a tackle there.
I don't see how you expect him to. He landed on his hip earlier. That really does affect your hip swivel. It affects your acceleration. Affects a lot of things. Your core is very important. Your hips are part of that.
3rd down and 5. Pepper with 3 targets, and Swearingen up the middle. He's not going to get there. Shravan Prasad quietly having a great game. Another tackle in the hole. 4th down and 3.
You know, both brothers have been doing really good this game so far. I mean, Prasad's had a couple of tackles. His brother's got a couple of receptions. There are a lot of families in this league, and it seems like this one is one of the newest ones to be looking to be pretty good.
Harish Prasad got his first SFL touchdown in his first SFL game earlier in the first half, as that ball is returned by Cameron Walsh up to the 19-yard line. Pretty good punt by Ryan Quaid. Still 10-10, 6:35 to go. Neither team really able to break it open here in the second half. We've only had 3 points.
I'm really starting to feel like a field goal could decide this game.
It most certainly could. Heavy set. On first down, an odd jump. Offsides on the Red Devils as Francis goes up the middle. That's about an 8-yard gain, so we'll see if they even accept the penalty.
I mean, 8 is greater than 5. They probably don't.
And they're going to accept the penalty. That was Ian Webb jumping. He was a linebacker who was placed up on the line in preparation for a blitz.
I don't particularly agree with them accepting the penalty. The time's going to continue to run. I know they, get another down, but was a free down really worth losing 2 yards?
Well, I guess they get more opportunities from a similar area Offset eye, receivers each side. Francis. Oh, and now it looks like a brilliant move because there goes Francis up the sideline. He shakes another tackle up to the 30-yard line of Indianapolis, flipping the field in a second long run of the game for A.J. Francis.
And these are the kind of plays you need to break a game like this wide open. Let's look at it again. Just wonderful vision by Francis, and down the sideline he goes. If it wasn't for Connolly up here at VTAC, Steve VTAC, if it wasn't for him, there would be no way that would not have been a touchdown if it wasn't for VTAC stopping him there.
And for as much plays as I've given Blake Colt in this game, he missed a wide open tackle about 15 yards before Francis finally went down, and now at the 31-yard line, going down the seam, and a receiver right down there to the 20-yard line to the SFL, presented by APM Music Red Zone. We were singing the praises of Harish Prasad earlier in the drive, and he got himself another catch.
You know, it's not often that we, sing the praises of the player and it not blow back in our face, so I'm kind of glad for once it didn't.
Two receivers left, one to the right, 1st and 10 from the 20. Handoff, Francis, left side, wrapped up and dropped after a gain of only 2 yards. Good contain by the Red Devils defense there. Ashley Rose Finch, the lead tackler.
See, what we see there, right there, is when you get past the first wave of defenders, the second wave knows that they have to engage and crash through. If they did not, that play looked like it could have broken itself, too.
A.J. Francis is always one block away or one missed tackle away from breaking it. He's that kind of back. He's got breakaway speed. 2nd down and 8. He's going to get the ball again, and this time he's hit right at the line of scrimmage and falls forward for a couple of yards. 3rd down and 4 coming up.
A little slow getting up there, but, when you take a hit from Blake Craze like that, I mean, anyone would be.
3rd down and 4. Got to get past the 10-yard line to reset the set of downs. Heavy pressure from Indianapolis towards the line of scrimmage, but they only rush 4. And going to the end zone. Oh, incomplete. Jalen Miller was wide open, but Ulandula zipped that in there a little too fast.
Feel like he just felt the pressure from the Mike linebacker just coming down on a blitz. Probably wasn't expecting it. I know you said they rushed 4, but I saw the linebacker come down, and that delayed blitz, that 5th man, was what did it there.
Now here comes Ezekiel Klein. He's perfect on the day. This is going to be his longest attempt so far, about a 30-yarder to give the Carolina Skyhawks the lead back. With 3:53 to go. Snap is good, hold is good, kick on the way, and it's right down Main Street. Ezekiel Klein's having himself a good day from the kicker spot. With 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the ball game, Carolina 13, Indianapolis 10. This is the SFL presented by APM Music on YouTube. Stay with us.
And that's a lot of time to give a team. 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Indianapolis, I'm not sure. Don't have our stats guy this week, but believe they have a lot more time of possession than Carolina does.
Well, at halftime, Carolina definitely had more possession, but that really long possession by Indianapolis at the start of the second half took about 7 minutes off the clock. Maybe swung that back in their favor as Finch brings that one up to the 24-yard line. And I think for Indianapolis to have success with this drive, Tom Pepper's going to have to lean on his receivers, Dan Daly and Eli McCormick, because how much are you going to trust Keith Swearingen, a possibly injured Keith Swearingen in this situation? 1st down and 10 I formation. Pepper going to throw after a short drop out to the far side. A couple of receivers there. McCormick picks up the catch, gets 8 yards.
And then now, this is what Tom Pepper needs to continue to do. You see, only gives it a second, knows where his man is, and it's just a wonderful pass there, knowing where his open man is. He needs to be the field general in this moment, run his 4-minute offense to perfection.
One of the things
the Indianapolis Red...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, if the Indianapolis Red Devils want to win this game.
One of the things I noticed in that replay is the offensive line really did a great shift to the left. All the D linemen tried to attack the left side, and it was good offensive line play, and Pepper goes out to Swearingen in the short yardage situation. The spin move doesn't get him past the tackler, but it does get him a first down.
Well, when your line shifts like that, you want to force what's usually less agile O linemen to shift and lose their footing so that you have an easy angle to the quarterback.
The offensive line stayed the course, and it worked out well for the Red Devils. Pepper, good pocket over the middle, man wide open down the seam, and a first down is maybe a generous spot by the Stripes. Give Eli McCormick 10 yards and a move of the chains.
They're starting to go into a bit of a little more of a West Coast style of offense, and I agree with that sort of play calling. You know the game's close. You want to run down the clock, but you also want to go down the field.
1st and 10 at the Indianapolis 46, going left to right, wearing all red, white helmets. Here's the handoff. Swearingen, he might still got it. He's got 11 yards and a first down into Carolina territory at the 43.
And here we're just thinking that he's really feeling it again. Look at this run right here by Swearingen. You thought he was hurt? You thought he was out? No way! Look at this. He still has the vision. He still has the agility and the pace to get down to the first down line there.
And he leapt over Phil Hall, who had been wrestled to the ground by an offensive lineman, was still in his way, and still got 11 yards after that. First down and 10, Indianapolis putting together a pretty good drive here in Carolina territory at the 43. Here's Castle out of the backfield. The fullback is going to pick up 7 yards down the right side.
And this is what I was trying to talk about earlier. Indianapolis needs to spread the ball to each and every one of the members of its offense. And on this drive, the most pivotal drive of the game, potentially for them, they've done so.
Red Devils trying to come back for the second time in the game and potentially knock off one of the 3 unbeaten teams in the league. The other ones being the Giants of Alaska and Tallahassee. Here is on 2nd down and 3. Swearingen up the middle. He's got a hole. He's got a first down.
That was a really risky play by is he still down? Oh, he's getting up now.
Slow to get up again, and we've reached the 2-minute warning. We're going to have a dramatic finish here from the 9th Circle in Indianapolis. Carolina 13, Indianapolis has 10, but they're driving. This is the SFL, presented by APM Music. Stay with us.
That's what I was trying to say earlier before this next play, if I can get it off, is that Carolina was really risky with that cover 0 there, engaging all of his defense.
First down and 10 at the 31. Swearingen up the middle. Spin move does not get him past Phil Hall that time. Great solo tackle, only 2 yards picked up.
And that's just something that he's just going to have to work on in practice. It's just to, I don't know, give him some drills, help him work out on some other moves, because you can't just keep being a one-trick pony. You got to change it up as a running back.
2nd down and 8 from the 29. 1:34 to go and counting. Pepper, short drop. Pressure coming. He's going to flare it out to Swearingen. The pass was behind Swearingen, and he really couldn't get going. They're going to mark him right at the line of scrimmage, even though I thought he lost a yard or two. Maybe a generous spot there from the ref. 3rd down and 8.
And that right there was exactly what I was talking about. They finally keyed in on it and hit him hard.
3rd and 8 now. This is where Indianapolis has struggled this season on 3rd down and long situations, and a great tip pass will prevent the first down.
Was very reminiscent of the same pass and the same sort of outcome in the first quarter. Just did not have enough touch to bring it up over Edwards and right onto the receiver.
Now
Pepper's had issues with...
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Now saying that Pepper just has had issues with his touch so far this game.
And now it's going to be an extremely long field goal, 45 yards, right at maybe about the edge of Roman Pena's range. Pena missed one from shorter than this in the first quarter. The kick is away, and it's no good! He missed it wide left this time, and the Skyhawks come away scot-free.
That just has to be absolutely crushing and just very resemblant of their season so far. Always a step behind, always a play away.
And Carolina is 4-0, but all 4 of their games have been low scoring, and all 4 of their games have been close. They haven't scored more than 24 points, and their defense hasn't given up more than 20 points, as here's a pass on first down out to the near side. That's Prasad. He'll pick up 5 yards.
And that's just a credit of their game plan. And as I said earlier, the way that Indianapolis has been playing has probably played most to Carolina's strengths so far this game, and it just shows it right here.
But credit to Indianapolis for hanging in there. Their defense, they've given up 13 points, but they have been very impressive for most of the day. Only 2 big runs by Francis, as Francis makes a stiff arm, makes another stiff arm, and gets past the 50-yard line. I thought he had him dead to rights in the backfield. First timeout used by Indianapolis.
No, the only people dead to rights here were the defenders on this play. Let's just look at it again. Well, what is this? Okay, there we go. 1, and then 2. Work with me here. Oh, I gotta talk to the camera guys here. They're not working with me right now.
Double stiff arm madness as the camera guy was stuck behind the referee, so we couldn't really see a great angle of that play. And oh, here is the victory formation with 48 seconds to go. Did they do the math right, Levant?
Let's see. 3 timeouts. No, 2 timeouts.
2 timeouts, 47 seconds.
Runoff time is like, what, 25 seconds? Barely. I want to say they just barely have it right.
So that might be it. Carolina, if they've done the math right, are going to 5-0. And you know that Klein over there on the sideline, he is one of the best coaches this league has. Indianapolis uses their final timeout. Ulandula goes to the sideline. And I never got to it earlier in the game, so get to it now. Coming up at 5 Central, 6 Eastern. That's 4 out there on the West Coast. Chicago at Queen City, Tulsa at New Orleans, and Vancouver at San Francisco. And late night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's 6 over there on the West Coast. Las Vegas at Denver. Tomorrow night, in prime time, fan night game of the week, Oklahoma City and Atlanta. 2 teams, 2-2, looking to go plus 500 for the first time this year. And the punter is out.
Well, the
Davis.
time is... Well, what I was going to say is just the time just gave them enough to punt it and then have a return. So it was just enough time.
There is a 5-second difference between the game clock and the play clock. I almost said game clock and the shot clock. That's wrong sport there. Punt is away. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. This is going to have to be a return. It's not going to be a return by Finch. Ball game over. Carolina wins. They are 5-0. As we see the post-game show stats and highlights scrolling across your screen, Levant, final words on today's game.
Well, when you have the ball, as long as Indianapolis had this game in the second half and don't close it out as we look at it again from this end, well, maybe not that necessarily that kick, but Pena just took 6 points off the board, and those 6 points were the difference. The 3 at the end of the game, and the 3 that they didn't get in the first half, and the big plays here by Francis were just the game changers here today.
That'll do it from us from the 9th Circle in Indianapolis. For our stats team, our camera crew, and everybody else, I'm Michael Truilo. My partner in crime is Levant Mercer. We will see you next time on the SFL.